Welcome to Mobile by May. I'm Steve May. I'm a licensed home builder, residential realtor, and I'm passionate about historic preservation. Our show features Mobile history, real estate, and transformation projects. Our mantra is that architecture is frozen music, and it really helps to inspire and elevate us. And I hope that you can join us as we breathe new life into old things. Hey y'all, I'm so excited to share with you guys today a history of these historic doors. People that know me know that I love old doors, and they're like portals into the past. They're like a touchstone into the history of our country and all the ancestors that built them. And so what I love about them is there's a visual tell. There's different clues that you can get from the style of the door, the age, the type of material, the type of wood, the way it was crafted, who built it, the type of nails. There's so many things that go into these historic doors, which really are works of art. And so I recently heard this quote: if you could only run your hand over the grain of this wood and hear the voices of the past. And I think that's what's so nostalgic about these beautiful old doors. I spent several weeks working on this door, stripping it, sanding it, put a little tongue oil on it because I wanted to bring out the natural grain in it. And look at how beautiful this old growth heart pine is. And if you notice the outside area and this inside, these are called stiles. The vertical parts are called stiles, and then the horizontal parts are called rails. Well, you notice how the stiles are so much darker because these are quarter sawn. And the reason they sawed the wood in that way is that they don't expand and contract with the humidity, okay? Now, these floating panels in the middle, there's no nails in here. These are floating panels in here, so they can contract with the humidity in the summer. You know how that goes. So the door, anybody in the South knows in the summer, you can't close your door because it gets so full. So these are actually an ingenious engineering design to be able to combat the humidity and take advantage of something so beautiful and symmetrical. And so, you know, it's beautiful, it's symbolic, and it just has such a presence to it. And that's what I love about these doors. So this is a Greek Revival 8-panel door, and you can see you've got two panels, two long panels. Then you have a wide kind of a lock rail here, and then you've got some smaller panels here at the side. But what I want you to look at here is look at these nails. So you've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've got 12 down each side. These are wooden nails that hold this together. So this is what they call mortise and tenon construction. And if you look here on the side, see how this tenon comes all the way through? So they didn't have nails. This is before, they didn't have boundaries, you know, so this is before industrialization. So they had to do everything manually. So the way that they crafted this door to make it stick together, and then also look, there are wedges you have to put wedges in there as well. So it's super tight, locked in with the wooden pegs, which sometimes people call tree nails, which I think that's so cool. But I just wanted to share that with you because we're going to do a little tour here on some of these old doors and different styles and periods of doors. And this is one that we got out of the Del Barco house that we salvaged on Spring Hill Avenue last month. And this was an interior door, maybe to the master bedroom. Then I want to show you this. I've got some huge doors. The thing about these antebellum doors, which is really kind of what we're focusing on specifically here, is everything was very large scale because you had very high ceilings for circulation and for heat to rise. So you also had to have huge doors for the flow, right? So this is an 8 foot by 4 foot cypress pocket door, and this is going to go in Annie's house, the one that we're going to build this year in Oakleigh, with the Creole Cottage. We're going to combine different elements into this house. We've got 2 of these, and these are cypress. I'm not sure if we're going to strip these or what, but these are stunning. And of course, they also use cypress because it's so lightweight. If they were heart pine, they would be so heavy, it'd be really hard to open them. But I love kind of the old world patina of it. So it's kind of a cool look the way that is. Here's another set of doors here that about 4 years ago, there was a called the Hawthorne House. It was a Creole Cottage on Stanton Road that was torn down. Anyway, I was able to save these doors along with most of the house, which was built entirely out of cypress. And these are going to be barn doors on my front of my workshop that I just started building, just started the foundation on. It has the original doorknobs, 6-panel door. I mean, look at that. It's just stunning. This is another 8 foot by 4 foot door. So I'm probably going to have them painted like a French blue. and the facade's going to be plastered. It's going to look like Lafitte's pirate. What's the place in New Orleans? It's so old. It's the oldest building in New Orleans. I want it to look really. Thank you. I want it to look like that. Okay. So then these are the other pocket doors that we got out of the Del Barco house, which is dated 1852, but I believe it may be 1840s. Look at this. These are 6-panel doors. These are 9 foot tall and 4 foot wide. So typically, kind of like a tell in a house, the wider the board, the older the house. With these doors, the taller the doors, the older the house, as a general rule of thumb. But I mean, look at how immense the size of these are. These things are amazing. And just the craftsmanship to be able to build these is so difficult to do. Same concept with the mortise and tenon. You know, and that type of mortise and tenon construction with wood peg assembly goes back to medieval times. So, you know, you have this real English influence of these patterns at a lot of these pattern books from England, where a lot of these designs came from, and you know, with Greek Revival and with Federal, so you had consistency through these pattern books. And I just think it's really awesome how kind of our ancestors, all of this kind of cascades through the generations of people with all these skills and talents. And you know, really, we were a frontier in the 1820s, and so this really gave it a sense of permanence and kind of a regal stature to these homes. This is a permanent place. And so I'm so blessed that we were able to save these doors. And then I have to take you to my oldest door, and what perhaps could be the oldest door in the city of Mobile, Alabama. This is what we call, sometimes it's called a cross and Bible door. You can see here the cross, and then this would be the Bible at the bottom. It's a early federal door, 6-panel door. And you can see how primitive it is, how pure and simple the lines are. Someone had already started stripping it. It looks like it's pine, but it's very delicate on this framing here. And from everything I've been able to research about it, it looks like it's 1820s. And so the Emanuel house, it's shifted from Haight to Emanuel from 1824 to 1825. And the value of the property went up like $700. So it would make sense that there was a home built there. But this is one of the doors from that house. We have several others that are going to go into this Creole Cottage. We've got all the bricks and everything. But this is like museum quality historic door. And so I just can't tell you how pumped I am to be kind of working on this. And I mean, if these things could talk, you know, that's the thing about it. So the memories of these doors and all the people that have passed through them and all the stories that they could tell, that's what I love about these old doors. Here's a 2-panel door. This is a Greek Revival, probably 1840s, a little bit later. And this is the original rim lock on it as well, which you don't find those very often. So this is kind of my boneyard or my backyard where I assemble things and work on things. And I'm just so excited to even these fluted columns here. We're going to use those probably on the back porch, distile and antis around the Federal surround. So we've got some awesome doors in here. And then I've also got some inside I wanted to share with you, just on the different ages and styles and how it really is. It's like archaeology, because it, by really examining it, looking at the type of hardware, the type of hinges, these are butt hinged here, you know, they're all visual clues on the age of the house and who it was built by. And of course, here in Mobile with the Gulf Coast, we have such a French Creole influence. So it's kind of a manifestation of all of these different cultures mixed together to create a piece of art that we've now saved. You know, one of the things I thought was really intriguing was Annie has a degree in building history from Cambridge, and we're going to be building history with her house. How awesome is that? You know, the other thing about this house is it has square tree nails, which I've only seen in an 1827 house. Typically they're round. And it also has double notched floor joists. And then it has 22-foot cypress beams that are like, I have to show it to you, but they're saddled out. I've never seen that before. There's a lot of unique things about this house that I think is going to really help us to document that it's really earlier, and it could be potentially the oldest house, and it's going to be amazing. So can't wait. Okay, y'all, so we're inside my house and I wanted to show you my collection of doors that I have in here. These are two 10-foot by 4-foot cypress doors from the Tolman house built in 1828. And I mean, just look at the size of these. So we've got 10 foot, 9 foot, and 8 foot that we talked about before. The older, the taller. So there's no telling how tall those ceilings are over there, but I love these doors. And what's so interesting is the scale of them. Like if you're not standing in here, you don't really realize it. But I saved some of these old knobs. And so it had really tiny little knobs and giant doors. And then look, you got this little escutcheon plate here for the key. Nobody could look, see right there? Isn't that neat? So you got the original hardware, but these were actually cypress doors. And so sometimes you can just lean them against the wall and it's a piece of art. It's like paneling to me, but it's a 6-panel door, very simple, symmetrical, kind of that federal influence, which I've really become fascinated with because federal is the first type of architecture, for our after the Revolutionary War. So, we don't have a lot of things in Mobile that, these are some of the oldest things our city has, even though we were formed in 1703. So many of these things were all lost and demolished and lost to fire and everything else. I want to show you this door. This is the house called the Miller O'Donnell Place, which was down on Broad Street near I-10. It's a Gulf Coast cottage built in 1837. This is actually the front door to that and the door surround. A guy had it in a tire shop for 40 years. And I had an artist friend who did the faux bois, which in French means fake wood. So they painted it back then, the front door, to make it look more ornate and more wealthy. And these are actually the original ones. There's a couple of original panels and the rest she kind of matched. But what's near and dear to my heart on this one, this is the doorknob from the Hawthorne house I was able to put on here, and it's still period. So I just save everything, and then sometimes it ends up coming back around and I'm able to use it again to keep it authentic. And so that's another 6-panel door. So we've got those sets. And then I wanted to share, which I think is kind of the ingenious way of coming up with open concept back in the day, because they had pocket doors, right? So these are some 9-foot pocket doors, and these close. And so, oftentimes men would be up here smoking cigars. You could close these, have some privacy, open the windows. And, this is really a neat aspect I love about these old houses, because it totally transforms a space. Like when it gets really cold, we'll close these up, turn the fire on. It's real cozy in here. So pocket doors is a really neat way to be able to take everything to make it a little bit different. And then look at this. This is an original door to this house. It's another Greek Revival door. We just left it rough. Wanted it to be kind of imperfect and kind of tell a story of the age. It looks so time worn and weathered. The hardware on this too is a very unique type of doorknob set. The hardware on there is very unique. And I've got a lot more, but I think they're really pieces of art, which really kind of manifest all the influence of art together with design and balance and symmetry and harmony and proportion. This right here is my favorite piece of roadkill. I found this on the side of the road in Oakleigh years ago, and it may be a Georgian door because it's got raised panels. Typically federal are flat or have a slight groove around them, but these are actually raised panels, and it's a little bit more diminutive too. So this actually could be a Georgian door, which could be pre-1800. So I just added this from Charles Phillips, a little handle on here. But that's why I love old doors. And this is actually even a window casing that I saved off an old house and used it as a door casing because I like the trim on it. There's just creative things that you can do with these doors that bring things to life, keep it kind of give it a soul, as opposed to everything being bright, shiny, and new. Everything's a little weathered. It's got alligator skin. It's rough. You can tell so much about the door by the color paints that were on there. It had milk paints, different colors and different eras that were popular. The different style, the different type of nails that were used. Were they square nails? Were they little rounded nails? Were they wooden pegs? Were they tree nails? All these things together, it's kind of like being a detective, and you really get to figure out, kind of the European descent of these craftsmen that came here and brought this architecture and this building technology here, which goes back hundreds and hundreds of years to medieval times. I'm just fascinated with it. And then you've got kind of the American influence with the French Creole in a new country. And so all these together, it's really cool, kind of a gumbo, I think, for Mobile. And we've got such a rich history, and I just am obsessed with it. Thank you so much for watching Mobile by May. Please share with your friends and family, and hope that you can join us, and please like, share, and subscribe.